Yongzi, tell me, your brother is about to get married, and your sister-in-law is pregnant, but they don't even have a house. How can they start a family? Early in the morning, my mother-in-law rushed to my house, eager to borrow our house. Mom, didn't we agree at the beginning that you and Dad prepared such a building, and whoever of me and my eldest brother gets married first will get that house? When my husband heard what my mother-in-law said, he couldn't help it immediately. Why does my eldest brother have to live in my house when he gets married? My mother-in-law was so anxious that tears were about to fall, and she wiped her eyes with her sleeves in grievance. Your eldest brother is more than 30 years old, and he finally found a partner. Now he is about to get married, so I borrowed it as a wedding house and returned it to you immediately after the wedding. Seeing that the always strong mother-in-law suddenly begged us so humbly, my husband and I looked at each other. Okay. Then we will go back to the countryside to live for a few days. That I held my mother-in-law's hand and signaled her not to worry. When my mother-in-law heard that we agreed, she immediately smiled and shook my hand. Since you all agree, you should pack up today. They will be here tomorrow. So urgent? My husband frowned as I looked at my hand that was thrown away by my mother-in-law. Now that my sister-in-law is pregnant with Wang's child and is about to marry into the family, my mother-in-law is too lazy to pretend to be nice to me. That I am an orphan. My mother-in-law always thinks that I have no background, no backing, and am easy to bully. Even my tuition fees when I was in school were funded by others. She often asked me to be her free driver when I was working and her free nanny when I was on vacation, but I have never felt the warmth of home since I was a child. I endured all these. After all, she didn't do anything too excessive, but she didn't know that when my husband and I were in love, I was found by my biological grandfather. It turns out that my parents are billionaires. I was lost when I was 3 years old. My parents died in a car accident while looking for me, leaving only my elderly grandfather. Unfortunately, my grandfather also died shortly after finding me, so I inherited the family's company and real estate. Because I knew the nature of my in-laws, I didn't tell them about this, not even my husband. They all thought I was still the orphan who had no one to rely on and earned a meager salary every month, and was easy to bully. My mother-in-law stood up and started packing our things in her hands, muttering, "That's what I mean, otherwise why would I come to beg you?" My face sank, and I felt like I fell into a pit. Unexpectedly, my husband and I were driven out of the house by my mother-in-law in just a few hours. All our personal belongings were turned out, more than a dozen bags of different sizes, and my mother-in-law even thoughtfully found a moving company for us, and then took a taxi home, leaving my husband and I in the wind. My mother-in-law came in the afternoon. When we arrived at my hometown, it was already 2 or 3 in the morning. We unloaded our luggage and prepared to go back to my hometown, but the driver stopped us. "Hey, you haven't paid yet. Didn't the person who placed the order pay you?" I asked in surprise. "Oh, no, it's usually 300 per trip, but this time we have to pay extra because we worked until the early morning." The driver yawned and his tone was a little impatient. I looked at my hometown where the lights were turned off and paid him reluctantly. When my husband and I moved the luggage into the house, the noise was a bit loud and we accidentally woke up my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law walked out of the bedroom with sleepy eyes and frowned. "Can you two keep your voice down in the middle of the night? I have to help your eldest brother move into the new house tomorrow. It really delays my sleep." "Mom, you insisted that we move today. You were so anxious that we didn't finish moving until now." There was a little anger in my tone, and I was very dissatisfied. My mother-in-law looked at me unhappily. "You agreed to lend the house to your eldest brother. You will move in tomorrow, so of course you have to move out today. You moved in so late because you are not agile and you are dawdling." After saying that, she walked towards the bedroom. My husband just brought in the last big box. Seeing that I looked aggrieved, he put down the box and comforted me. "Don't be angry, wife. We will move back after your eldest brother gets married." I nodded, and was pulled up by my mother-in-law early the next morning. "Don't you see what time it is? Get up quickly and go to clean the house with me. How can a new person live in such a dirty house?" My mother-in-law frowned and her brows were twisted into one. I forced myself to open my eyes with sleepy eyes. I didn't fall asleep until more than 4 in the morning. It was only 7 o'clock now. I said helplessly, Mom. I only slept for less than 3 hours. Don't make excuses for your laziness. Your sister-in-law will go to the house at noon. Let's go and clean it up. She is pregnant with our Wang family's eldest grandson. My mother-in-law pulled my arm and tried to pull me up. She was very strong and it hurt so much when she pulled my arm that I was in pain and had no choice but to get up. My mother-in-law's house is in the countryside, an hour's drive from the city. In order to prevent being late, my husband left at around 6 o'clock. I followed my mother-in-law to the house in the city with a disheveled face. My mother-in-law asked me to clean the kitchen and the bathroom. My mother-in-law was alone in the living room, making a crackling sound. Seeing that several brand-name ornaments that I had just bought at home were thrown into the trash can by my mother-in-law as if they were garbage, I couldn't help but want to speak. Mom, these things are very expensive. If you don't want to keep them, put them aside. I'll find a box to take them back later. My mother-in-law pouted and knocked on one of the ornaments. That's it, very expensive. A pile of broken copper and iron, throw them all away. Persuasion failed, and I began to look forward to my mother-in-law knowing the price of these things. She also asked me to buy trash cans and other daily necessities, and asked me to replace them all with new ones when I was sweating profusely while being ordered back and forth by my mother-in-law to run back and forth between rooms. There was a hustle and bustle at the door. Mom. We are here. A lady's gentle voice came from the door. It was my eldest sister-in-law. When my eldest sister-in-law saw my disheveled hair and sweat, she pretended to be surprised and said, Thank you for your hard work and helping us tidy up the room. My eldest brother Wang Wei came upstairs with his luggage, saw me cleaning, and called me sister-in-law lightly. When my mother-in-law saw my eldest sister-in-law and eldest brother, she immediately smiled and greeted them, pushed me away, and carefully protected my eldest sister-in-law. Oh, our Wang family's baby. You have to be careful. If there is something, let your sister-in-law do it. Go to the sofa and have a rest. I will cook for you in person later. This kind look makes people think she is a good mother-in-law at first glance. The eldest brother looked very proud. Mom's shrimp egg custard is very delicious. This time I must let Lily try it. I have heard that Mom's shrimp egg custard is a must-try. I must try it today. But I love everything Mom makes. The eldest sister-in-law is very sweet. And she coaxed the mother-in-law very happy. She turned around and saw a decoration that the mother-in-law was about to throw away, and her face changed. This is a new decoration from XX, why throw it away? The mother-in-law was stunned for a moment and replied, This is bought by your sister-in-law. If you like it, keep it. Hearing this, the eldest sister-in-law looked me up and down, and asked tentatively, Where did your sister-in-law buy this? It's quite realistic, haha, my friend sold it to me at a low price. I lied without changing my face. Well, she is a poor orphan, earning only 3,000 or 4,000 yuan a month. Where can she afford to buy these things? My eldest brother was sitting on the sofa, mumbling, not caring about belittling me in front of my eldest sister-in-law. When my eldest sister-in-law heard this, she looked at me with a little more contempt. My eldest sister-in-law's stomach growled a few times, and she blushed. I got up early in the morning, didn't eat, and now I'm a little hungry. When my mother-in-law heard this, she quickly asked my eldest sister-in-law to sit down. And she went to cook. Only my eldest sister-in-law and eldest brother were left in the living room. It was boring for me to stay, so I slipped downstairs on the pretext of throwing away the garbage and went back to the company to deal with some things. When I came back, my mother-in-law had already prepared 6 dishes, with a combination of meat and vegetables, and balanced nutrition. The family was happy and harmonious. When my mother-in-law saw me coming back, she handed me a bowl of white porridge. Drink more porridge to nourish your stomach. After saying that, she didn't even look at me, and turned to add dishes for my eldest brother and sister-in-law that I have been helping since my mother-in-law asked us to borrow the house yesterday, and in the end I didn't even have a decent meal. I was holding back a fire in my heart, and reached out to scoop up the shrimp egg custard. Unexpectedly, my sister-in-law made a dissatisfied sound, and my mother-in-law immediately knocked my spoon away with chopsticks. You eat your meal, your sister-in-law is pregnant, what's wrong with you snatching food from her? When my brother saw that I was being scolded, He proudly scooped a spoonful of shrimp egg custard into his mouth, and made a smacking sound in his mouth. Seeing this family having fun, I worked so hard for them and couldn't even have a full meal. I could only endure the momentary unhappiness and drink white porridge. Even after the meal, no one paid attention to me when I said I was leaving first. Soon, my sister-in-law and my brother got married, and my husband and I discussed to get the house back as soon as possible to avoid any more trouble. But every time I mentioned this, my mother-in-law laughed it off. Sometimes she said that your brother and sister-in-law had just moved in a few days ago, and it was too inconvenient to move out now, and sometimes she said that your sister-in-law's pregnancy was not stable yet, and she was afraid that moving would tire her. My husband couldn't help it. That house is mine. Is it so difficult for me to get it back? Hearing that her husband was anxious, the mother-in-law stopped pretending. Yongzi, I'll tell you straight, I'm not going to give you that house. I'll give it to your brother. My husband was confused, and I guessed what the mother-in-law was thinking. The property certificate clearly has our names on it. Why do you give it to your eldest brother? I squinted my eyes and stared at the unreasonable look of the mother-in-law. Wang Yong's mother. Who else should he listen to if he doesn't listen to me? The mother-in-law yelled at the top of her voice. Wang Yong was helpless. Mom, don't treat me as a fool. If I'm forced, I can directly drive my brother and sister-in-law out. Do you believe it, Yongzi? Aren't you the best friend of your brother? Was it provoked by this woman? The mother-in-law blushed and pointed at me with trembling fingers, turned around and yelled at me. You poor ghost, I've seen through you a long time ago. You came here just for our property. You have no family and you want to abduct my son. As soon as she finished speaking, she raised her hand to slap me. Before my husband could come to his senses, I had already grabbed my mother-in-law's arm and sneered. You have been scolding me for several years. Haven't you scolded me enough? Wang Yong is not stupid. This house is his. If he doesn't fight for it, who will? The mother-in-law began to cry loudly, saying that her unfilial son married an unfilial daughter-in-law, crying with snot and tears. This made Wang Yong feel guilty again. Standing there not knowing what to do, I ignored it directly, turned around and left, and drove back to the company. Recently, the company has recruited a lot of new employees and is very busy. How can I have time to talk to my mother-in-law about those useless things? As soon as I arrived at the company, the head of the Human Resources Department came up and said respectfully, Mr. Su, the resumes of the candidates selected today have been placed in your office. Please review them. I nodded and strode towards the elevator. When I walked into the office, there was a thick stack of resumes on the table. I temporarily put aside the troubles at home and devoted myself to work. Just as I was screening these job seekers, I suddenly saw a familiar ID photo. Looking at this person's information, I couldn't help laughing. I put down my resume and dialed the phone. Director Lin, please help me find someone. When I left the company, it was already dark. I called the company's lawyer team and went home together. Dong dong dong. Knocks on the door sounded. The sister-in-law just wanted to get up and open the door, but was stopped by the mother-in-law. You sit still, I'll open it. The mother-in-law was wearing slippers and asked as she walked, who would come at this time. As a result, when she opened the door, she saw a row of people in black suits, and the mother-in-law was shocked. Hello, we are the lawyer team hired by Miss Su Yu. Miss Su Yu said that someone illegally occupied her property, and we came to mediate. The first time she encountered such a tense occasion, the mother-in-law was frightened and her face turned pale, and she couldn't speak for a long time. My eldest brother and his wife came out after hearing the noise, and were stunned by the scene. Who occupied Su Yu's house? This is the house my parents bought, my eldest brother yelled at the lawyer outside angrily. But the names of Miss Su Yu and Mr. Wang Yong were written on the property certificate. The lawyer stated the facts expressionlessly. I pushed the lawyer team away, walked out from behind them, and looked at the three shocked people coldly. Do you want me to sue you for occupying a private house? My mother-in-law saw me and gritted her teeth and said, you take that meager salary, and you still have time to find so many lawyers to scare us. Humph, I have to say that you are unfilial and make it impossible for you to stay in this community. This farce caused quite a stir. The neighbors across the street curiously poked their heads out to take a look, and seeing so many people in black, they quickly shrank their heads back without wanting to cause trouble. Humph. Go ahead and say it. Do you want your eldest son and daughter-in-law to be sued by me and stay in court for a few days? I threatened my mother-in-law, and seeing her panic, I continued to guide her. If you don't want to be sued, just return the house to us, sister-in-law. This must be a misunderstanding. Seeing that the situation was not favorable for them, the eldest sister-in-law smiled and pretended to be a good person. We had planned to move, but I was pregnant recently and the fetus was not stable, so we delayed it for fear of accidents. Don't worry, we will move soon. You get rid of these people first. It looks scary. When will we move? Or tomorrow? I chased after her. The eldest sister-in-law twitched her mouth. Tomorrow? Too anxious. If you don't move tomorrow, I will take legal action. I threatened. Okay, tomorrow. The eldest sister-in-law smiled apologetically, and the eldest brother was obviously dissatisfied and wanted to argue, but was pulled by the eldest sister-in-law's sleeve. You have worked hard, go to the finance department to collect your bonus. Tomorrow. I ordered. And the lawyer team nodded respectfully and left. When my husband came back, I had already disbanded the lawyer team. Looking at my breathless husband, I told him, the problem has been solved, and they will return the house to us tomorrow. My husband looked at me in surprise. How did you deal with the three of them alone? I asked my former senior sister to borrow her lawyer team from her company. Now is not the time to talk about identity, I calmly answered. I said I would take them to court, and they immediately softened. My husband smiled happily and hugged me tightly. You are worthy of being my wife. Since I drove my in-laws out, they have been quiet for a long time. When I went home and saw my mother-in-law appear in the living room with an apron on her face, I suddenly had an ominous premonition. Yu is back. Come and eat. My husband came out of the kitchen with dishes, and while greeting me to sit down, he smiled and said, Your mother specially came to cook a table of sumptuous dishes. She said she was wrong about the house, and now she came to apologize to us, seeing Wang Yong saying good things there. My mother-in-law hurriedly struck while the iron was hot and put dishes in my bowl. I was inconsiderate. This house was originally promised to you, and I shouldn't consider giving it to my eldest brother and his family. This is my fault. I apologize to you, said the mother-in-law, looking at the dishes piled up into a small mountain in the bowl. This should be the first time that my mother-in-law picked up food for me after I got married. If I hadn't seen the eggplant in the bowl, I almost thought that my mother-in-law had feelings for me. Seeing that I was staring at the dishes in the bowl without saying anything, Wang Yong followed my line of sight and saw the eggplant, and hurriedly picked it up. Mom, Yu is allergic to eggplant. Oops, I forgot, the mother-in-law said awkwardly, but soon smiled again. I think you are busy with work, and eating takeout every day is not good for your health, so why don't I come to your place to take care of you for a few months? Isn't the eldest sister-in-law pregnant, Mom? Are you assured to leave the eldest sister-in-law alone at home? The mother-in-law cares most about her grandson. Why would she want to take care of me, who has been married for several years and has not given birth to a child? My husband is very happy that the mother-in-law comes to live at home for a longer time. Although there were some unpleasantness before, she is my biological mother after all. Your eldest sister-in-law said that she found a job in a big company and is ready to go to work. It seems to be called Sue Group. I told her to rest assured and take care of the baby. But she just wouldn't listen. I had a big fight with her at home. She can do whatever she wants. You don't know how difficult she is to serve. She wants to eat bird's nest every day. How can I buy it for her? I don't want to go home and be angry with her. You are better. I heard that my sister-in-law came to work in our company. I heard that she is very arrogant. She offended everyone in just a few days of work. But it seems that someone is protecting her. My mother-in-law complained and seemed to have a fierce quarrel with my sister-in-law. Seeing that my mother-in-law brought all the luggage, my husband also had this intention, so I naturally had no reason to drive my mother-in-law away. My mother-in-law changed her usual behavior and served us meals in the morning and evening. She ground soy milk for me every morning, saying that drinking soy milk in the morning is good for the body, and she only gave it to me, not even my husband. My husband was jealous because of this, saying that my mother-in-law now treats me like her own daughter, and he is like a son-in-law. The soy milk that my mother-in-law grinds has a strong bean fragrance and delicious taste. Every time I finish a cup, I want to drink more. But my mother-in-law said that it is good to drink in moderation and only prepare 1 bowl a day, that I always feel very tired recently. I go to bed early every night and can't get up in the morning. My mother-in-law and others said that it might be because it is almost winter and it is easy to be lazy. I didn't care too much. This morning I received an urgent call from the company and got up half an hour earlier than usual. My husband came back very late last night from socializing. I got up carefully for fear of waking him up. My mother-in-law has already gotten up and is preparing to grind soy milk in the kitchen. I want to say hello and say that I have something urgent to do at work. Unexpectedly, my mother-in-law secretly took out a small bag from her trouser pocket and said fiercely, "Do you still want me to serve you? Dreaming, you are so happy to drink this drugged soy milk every day. What a fool. When you die, this house will belong to my grandson." After that, she poured a bag of unknown powder into it. I covered my mouth, not daring to speak, with cold sweat running down my back. My mother-in-law really had bad intentions. She drugged me to harm me, Miss Sue. Do you often feel very tired now? The doctor frowned as he looked at the test results and asked me. Yes, I thought it was because of winter. Is there something wrong with your body? I asked anxiously. You may have taken a chronic poison, which will make people feel tired if taken for a short time, and your body will gradually collapse until you die if taken for a long time. I walked out of the hospital in a daze. There must be something wrong with the abnormal situation. My mother-in-law is really cruel. Suddenly I remembered that I installed a surveillance camera at home at that time, in case strangers came into the house, so let me see what my good mother-in-law is doing now. I end the surveillance. My mother-in-law was sitting in the living room and making a phone call. My daughter-in-law, I tell you that Sue Yu is getting more and more tired now, and I don't think she will live long. When she dies, I will find a reason to send Yongzi back to his hometown. Then you and Weizi will move in and let my precious grandson live in this big house. Her tone became more and more excited, and her expression was so excited that it was hard to imagine that she was talking about a murder plan. Mom, you have worked so hard and you still care about us. The eldest sister-in-law was still saying polite words, which made the mother-in-law stunned. Oh, it must be your good idea to find such a useful medicine. She didn't notice it at all. I hid all the medicine in the medicine box in my bedroom. When she asked, I just said that it was the medicine I took. I originally thought that as long as they stopped making trouble, I would live like this in this life. But I didn't expect that they would kill me. This time I will kill them all. I accidentally found the medicine that my mother-in-law secretly hid. There were quite a few, more than a dozen packets. I secretly replaced them all with powdered sugar. Then, I acted as if nothing had happened and drank soy milk that was sweeter than usual every day. My mother-in-law watched me drink soy milk happily every day, and her smile became brighter and brighter. I saved the poison and surveillance videos, and silently watched her go further and further on the road of crime. As they expected, my physical condition seemed to be getting worse day by day. Finally, one day when I was eating, I collapsed in front of her. I had asked my secretary to arrange everything in the hospital in advance. Yu, what happened to you? As soon as my mother-in-law entered the ward, she began to wail in a pretentious manner. How could she suddenly faint while eating breakfast? Only Wang Yong was really worried and stayed by my bedside. My mother-in-law looked at my pale face and asked the doctor about my condition. Anxiously, Doctor, what happened to my daughter-in-law? Why did she suddenly fall into a coma? The doctor took a look at me and told my mother-in-law word for word according to my previous instructions that we don't know the cause of the disease yet, and we are checking it. After that, he said a few more words to Wang Yong, then turned and left. My mother-in-law answered a phone call and went out, and when she came back, she brought my eldest brother and sister-in-law with her. Secretary's son was still waiting in the corridor not far from the ward. My eldest sister-in-law recognized that this was the secretary beside the chairman at a glance, and greeted him with a smile. Hearing that the chairman was hospitalized, my eldest sister-in-law said that she must visit him, but secretary's son said that the chairman liked quietness, so she gave up. Arrived at the ward, my eldest brother patted Wang Yong's shoulder hypocritically to comfort him, and my eldest sister-in-law squeezed out a few tears. Why did my sister-in-law suddenly fall ill? Oh, I'm at work. I just received the call and rushed over. Wang Yong is in no mood to answer their questions now. The four of them were anxiously waiting for my test results that I waited until the evening, and the test results came out. There was no abnormality. I guess it was because I was too tired from work. The three people were obviously a little confused. Shouldn't this be dead? Seeing that I was discharged from the hospital after my complexion improved, they were a little impatient, but they didn't dare to show it them why mother-in-law couldn't help it. After I was discharged from the hospital, she increased the dosage. This time, I was admitted to the hospital again within a week. Not long after I was admitted to the hospital this time, the doctor issued a critical illness notice. Wang Yong cried and fainted because of this, and continued to cry after waking up. My mother-in-law pretended to cry heartbrokenly. My daughter-in-law, how could I be the one sending off the young? My eldest brother and sister-in-law also pretended to shed a few tears. Just when they thought I was going to die, I was pushed back to the ward. I was pale, opened my eyes, and was very weak. Wang Yong lay in front of my bed and held my hand tightly, his eyes swollen from crying. Wife, what's wrong with you? Why are you suddenly so sick? My daughter-in-law, it seems that we are still not destined to be together. You are leaving after only being a family member for a few years. My mother-in-law was crying and snotting, and those who didn't know would think it was a very touching scene. I looked at my mother-in-law weakly. Mom, there is something you must help me with. If you have anything unfinished, Mom will definitely help you. Come in, Secretary's son. Secretary's son came in with a tablet and a drug identification form and threw them on the sofa. As soon as the sister-in-law saw Secretary's son, her face turned ugly, and when she saw the evidence I collected, her face became even uglier. Wang Yong took the tablet first, looked at it with confusion, and his face became more and more ugly, and he shouted angrily, Mom, what did you do to you? Mother-in-law panicked. Why did you install surveillance, you bitch? Do you know that you have committed premeditated murder? I watched coldly. You don't spit blood. My brother pointed at me with trembling fingers. Ha, you want to kill me? Isn't it just for this house? I sneered. When Wang Yong heard his mother-in-law say that she would kick him out after he died, tears instantly flowed down his face. Mom, for so many years, you still favor your brother and don't care about my life or death. No, you are a piece of flesh that fell from my body. How could Mom not love you? The mother-in-law defended herself heartbreakingly. Your sister-in-law is pregnant. I have to consider my grandson first. You and Suyu don't have a child yet. This is just a lie to herself. Grandson. Mom, do you really think that she is pregnant with your grandson? When this was said, everyone present was stunned. Mother-in-law, Wang Wei, and Wang Yong all stared at the eldest sister-in-law. The eldest sister-in-law's heartbeat accelerated, her eyes became unnatural, and she raised her voice to give herself courage. Don't talk nonsense. My child belongs to the Wang family. Secretary's son, show the things to my eldest brother, sister-in-law, and mother-in-law. I ordered. Okay. Chairman, Secretary's son nodded and took out another document from his briefcase. As soon as the word chairman came out, everyone else in the room was stunned. An orphan, turned out to be the chairman of Sue's. My mother-in-law trembled and opened the file, which contained a stack of photos and a recorder. The person in the photo who was entangled with a man was my sister-in-law. My brother took the recorder and opened it, and my sister-in-law's voice came out. Mr. Lee, she is pregnant. Calculating the date, it should be the time when I traveled with you. I went to see it in advance. And it was a boy. I planned to tell my boyfriend that the child was his, and then quickly marry him, and let his big bastard raise our child. My boyfriend's mother was looking forward to having a grandson. How could she not want a grandson picked up for free? This Mr. Lee is the boss of our company's sales department. My sister-in-law entered a large company like ours with a college degree. It was all the boss's secret operation. I was afraid that they would not be able to figure it out for a while. So I explained to them why mother-in-law fainted on the ground in a hurry. The eldest brother's chest was filled with anger. You are so calculating. You let me raise a child for another man, and let this child take our house. The eldest sister-in-law fell to the ground with weak legs, hugged the eldest brother's legs and begged, husband, I was wrong, please forgive me, I will abort this child immediately. We can have another child of our own. The eldest brother slapped her and called her. I sighed, bah, you are so disgusting. At this time, there was a noise outside the door. Police, please open the door. The eldest brother knelt down instantly and begged me to let them go. Sister-in-law, we were wrong, it's all this vicious woman's fault, please let Mom and me go. The eldest sister-in-law naturally didn't want to take the blame herself. Seeing that the eldest brother would not forgive her, she simply wanted to die together. It was you who said to get rid of Su. Why pretend to be a good person? Your family is not a good person. Seeing them fighting each other, my face gradually improved and I sat on the bed to watch the show. It was not until Secretary's son let the police in that the farce ended. Wang Yong was completely disappointed with his family and decided to work with me to protect our rights. They deliberately harmed me, so they had to bear the consequences. Wang Yong had no objection to my idea at all. We were all victims. The final verdict came out. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law were sentenced to 10 years as executors, and my brother was sentenced to 8 years as the planner, since knowing that I found my family. My husband accompanied me to pay tribute to them, even after hearing that I was the head of the Su group. Wang Yong looked at me with awe. I smiled bitterly and said, "Don't be like this, I am no different from before. I just found my family. I failed to protect you, and you left bad memories when you felt the warmth of home for the first time." My husband hugged me tightly. But I really feel very happy now. I handed my husband a piece of paper. I'm pregnant, I'm going to be a father. My husband's eyes were full of excitement. I smiled and said, "Yes. We are going to be parents. We want to be the best parents in the world together." This article is over. Next, let's start the second story. On the day of the engagement party, my boyfriend's family regretted not wanting to give a betrothal gift of 500,000 yuan. And said in front of relatives and friends that our family worships money and is greedy to the bone. They also pulled my boyfriend's first love girlfriend and said that it would be better to marry her than marry me. His first love sat obediently opposite my mother-in-law and said that marrying her would not cost a betrothal gift, but my parents gave me a dowry of 1.88 million yuan, and 10 shops plus a large duplex in the city center. I didn't expect that an engagement party would make me recognize the true face of Chen Chen's mother. Nian, this 500,000 is really too high. Chen Chen's company is not doing well in capital turnover now. Anyway, you will be a family in the future, so why not make the betrothal gift less? I looked at Chen Chen in surprise. I didn't expect his mother to suddenly bring up this matter. Wasn't the betrothal gift of 500,000 agreed long before the engagement party? 500,000 is just within Chen Chen's ability. I persuaded my parents for a long time before they agreed. My future mother-in-law Su Chuanxiu sat next to me, acting like an elder. You and our Chen Chen have been together for 5 years. Why do you still care about these things? You will be 30 next year. A woman can't delay after 30. I'll decide the betrothal gift. 250,000. I still felt a little painful when I said this. I wanted to change my words, but Chen Chen coughed, and his mother said, Nian, I'm not saying it, but it's a matter of saying that the pot should match the lid, with your family's conditions. If you and Chen Chen hadn't known each other in college, if you hadn't had a hukou in S City, you might not be able to marry into our family with Chen Chen's wealth. You should be content. What are my conditions? My parents are both university professors, and they have always advocated thrift. I grew up in such an environment, and naturally developed a good habit of thrift. That's why Chen Chen mistakenly thought that I came from the countryside like him when I was in college. Later, when he knew that my parents were university professors, he also thought that my family was average. After all, what I wore and used were very ordinary. After graduating from college, our relationship was stable, and I tried to confess my true family background to him, but he was busy starting a business at that time, and he didn't have the heart to listen to my small talk at all, and I didn't think it was necessary. But I didn't expect that Chen Chen's misunderstanding of me would make his mother look down on me directly. Her words clearly said that I was marrying Chen Chen up, but when Chen Chen and I were together, he was still a poor boy with nothing. If I hadn't accompanied him to start a business, felt sorry for his company's difficulties in starting up, and hadn't said good things to him in front of my brother-in-law and given him financial support, would Chen Chen have achieved what he has now? My father has always been hot-tempered. He stood up and asked, "What do you mean by this? Is this the attitude of your family?" Before I could say anything, Su Chuanxiu stood up unwillingly. "What is our family's attitude? You are a poor teacher. You should be happy that your daughter can marry a young talent like our Chen Chen. You are asking for a betrothal gift of 500,000 yuan. Don't you think you deserve it? If it weren't for your daughter who slept with my son for free for 5 years, I wouldn't even want to pay 200,000 yuan. It's really unlucky." This was so unpleasant that I was even stunned for a while. I looked at Chen Chen, but he didn't react at all. "Did he agree?" Su Chuanxiu said, and then pulled the girl in a red dress beside her and said, "This is our Chen Chen's childhood sweetheart Xiaoxue, who went to the same university as Nian Nian. She is also going to get married in 2 months. Not only does she not want a dowry, but she also gives a house. This Xiaoxue is even Chen Chen's first love girlfriend. She wore a red dress at my engagement party." After hearing what his mother said, she looked at Chen Chen shyly. I laughed angrily. "What can your family give as a dowry? That broken house in the suburbs, or a car with peeling paint? Why do you want a dowry of 500,000 yuan for a poor family?" Su Chuanxiu was arrogant, and her sarcastic and mean eyes fell on my dad's slightly whitened suit after washing, and she rolled her eyes to the sky, disdaining my family's poverty. Does she know that even if my dad's suit is washed white, he can still buy 10 skirts of a certain luxury brand on her? I wanted to laugh in my heart. At this moment, I was extremely glad that I listened to my parents and didn't tell Chen Chen about the dowry they prepared for me, 1.88 million, 10 shops, and a large duplex in the city center. He always told his mother that my parents were just teaching at the university, barely a family of scholars. I met his mother a few times, and his mother always looked at me with dissatisfaction. For Chen Chen, I endured it, but now his mother looked down on my parents. I couldn't stand it that I ignored Su Chuanxiu and looked at Chen Chen, who had been standing behind his mother. "Chen Chen, is this your mother's intention or yours?" Chen Chen didn't answer me. He looked at me, with the helplessness and evasion on his face that I was very familiar with. "Nian Nian, my mother is right. My company is really struggling now. This 500,000 betrothal gift is really too high. Your family," the obscure look of disdain paused on my parents, and then said that 250,000 is the limit I can take out. If I didn't really like you, that I couldn't help interrupting him. "Chen Chen, you picked up a car worth 300,000 yuan last month." Chen Chen's face suddenly turned ugly, and his mother saw this and raised her voice even more. "What's wrong with picking up a car? That's the money my son earned himself. What do you have in your family? You asked for 500,000 yuan at the first opening. Don't you see what kind of person you are? You finally got close to my son and you can't wait to bring money home. In the future, will you just lie on my son and suck his blood? You are still a university teacher, you can just sell your daughter. No, even if you go out to buy it. I'm afraid it won't be 250,000 in these 5 years. I know exactly what your family is thinking. You should be content with giving you 250,000 yuan. You are not a virgin girl, so shameless. You, shut up. My dad was so angry that his face turned blue. My mom kept rubbing his chest. My dad was in poor health. If he kept pestering me, I was afraid that he would really get sick. I threw the property certificate of the large duplex in the city center out of my bag. If everything went well today, your family would give a gift of 500,000 yuan. And my parents would give me a dowry of 1.88 million yuan in cash, 10 shops on the commercial street, and this house in the city center. But since your family doesn't like it so much, I think there is no need to continue this marriage. The room was quiet, and then there was laughter. Chen Chen's sister Chen Wei took the red book and laughed so hard that tears came out. Are you kidding me? I said. Su Niannian, you are not afraid of being exposed for your lies. Chen Chen's face was extremely ugly, with a hint of disbelief and astonishment. Wei, this is true, really. Su Chuanxiu was shocked that my mother supported my father. I picked up my bag and clothes, and pulled the property certificate out of Chen Wei's hand, looking at Chen Chen coldly. Chen, we are done here. That I always thought that this betrothal gift was just a formality, and the money would still return to me and Chen, but my parents insisted. They didn't need the 500,000 yuan. They just wanted to see the attitude of Chen's family. My parents were not very satisfied with me and Chen. Together, they felt that Chen was ambitious and unskilled, his heart was floating. And he was not down to earth, but Chen and I have known each other for 8 years and have been in love for 5 years, and our relationship has always been very good. Even if his mother doesn't like me, I want to marry Chen, not his mother. I have been comforting myself like this, but unexpectedly, Chen's mother really gave me a surprise. Just now, his mother scolded my family for being greedy, saying that my family wanted to suck blood from Chen, and that I couldn't sell for 250,000 yuan in 5 years. All kinds of ugly things came over us. Tearing off our family's face and stepping on the ground, and Chen didn't say a word. On the contrary, after knowing the dowry my parents gave me, Chen's calls and text messages bombarded me that I wanted to hear what he had to say. After all, we have been together for so many years, and I am 2 months pregnant. After hanging up more than 10 times in a row, I pressed the answer button. He was anxious on the phone, apologizing to me and my parents on behalf of his mother, saying that there was a misunderstanding. His mother was old and asked me to bear more. And we had been together for many years. That I was very angry when I heard the first half, but when I heard him mention our 8-year relationship, I inevitably softened my heart. How many 8 years can a person have, apart from the betrothal gift? Chen is really good to me. Friends jokingly call him one of the top 10 boyfriends. Nian, I was confused just now. You know how much Chen in our family has worked hard for the company and paid. The funds are really not available. I was too anxious. So I took my anger out on you. You also know that Chen's father passed away early. How can I, a woman, raise Chen and his sister if I am not good at talking? It's all my fault. I apologize to you and my parents-in-law. On the phone, Chen's mother cried and was very careful. Thinking that his mother is the same age as my parents, but looks more than 10 years older than them, it is obvious that she is overworked. I can't help but feel a little moved. The phone was picked up by Chen Wei again. Sister-in-law, your family gave you such a rich dowry. Why didn't you say it earlier? With a tone of complaint, I heard Chen scold her over there. Chen Wei muttered a few times, and when her voice became clear, it became her usual delicate tone again. Sister Nian, little sister-in-law, my mother has apologized to you, and I also apologize to you. Who would have thought that my uncle and aunt are so low-key? This time it's our family's fault. You can blame me or my mother, but my brother really did nothing wrong. He has been busy running around the family and the company to marry you. And he has lost weight. Please forgive me and my mother. Chen Wei and I have not met many times. She is in college in another city and is 8 years younger than me. Chen loves her very much on weekdays. He has spoiled her like a little princess. She and I have a neutral relationship. She always speaks coquettishly to me when she needs it. For Chen's sake, I also treat her as a sister. Nian, today's engagement banquet is too hasty, and it really wronged you. Let's discuss it again. Pick a good day, and don't need to get engaged. Let's get married directly, okay? The gentle voice on the other end of the phone is the most familiar to me, with a deep affection, which makes me speechless instantly. I admit that I am soft-hearted since I can't come up with a betrothal gift of 500,000. There is no dowry. My father has a gloomy face. That I was startled, knowing that my father was testing Chen. After all, his mother's scolding in the restaurant just now was still ringing in my ears. After knowing the dowry my parents gave me, it was Chen's family who turned 180 degrees. I relayed my father's words truthfully. And heard Chen on the other end was obviously stunned. Then there was a noisy sound, and Chen walked to a quiet place. Okay, it doesn't matter, Nian Nian, you have a studio, and I have a company. You can make money, but it's hard for you, Nian Nian, I will work hard for our future. His words were sincere, and I felt relieved. Seeing that my father and mother's expressions also eased a little, I couldn't help but feel happy. After all, no one wants to believe that their boyfriend, who has been together day and night for 5 years, is a person who is greedy and disregards friendship. I don't want the father of the unborn child in my belly to be such a person, but fortunately, Chen Chen did not let me down. The next day, Chen Chen and his mother came to my house with a lot of gifts. Su Chuanxiu, who was so arrogant at the engagement party, held my mother's hand and called her mother-in-law affectionately. She also changed her cold face towards me. Her loving eyes swept me from head to toe, as if she was looking at some precious child. It was even more disgusting than the look she gave Chen Wei. Is said that you should not hit a smiling person. Chen Chen and his mother have done this. My parents are not unreasonable people. They talked happily in the living room. I couldn't stand the look Chen Chen's mother gave me and went to the balcony to get some fresh air. Chen Chen followed me out and asked me if I was feeling uncomfortable. I looked unhappy. I really didn't feel well. I touched my belly and felt a little uneasy. Chen Chen looked down along my movements and suddenly his eyes lit up. Nian Nian, are you pregnant? The handsome and gentle young man looked at me with hopeful eyes. My heart softened and I unconsciously raised my lips. Chen Chen hugged me excitedly. Great, I'm going to be a father. Without waiting for me to speak, he took my hand and came to the living room. He said to his mother happily, Mom, Nian Nian is pregnant. You will be a grandmother soon. Let's set the wedding date as soon as possible, shall we? Turning his head and looking at me. His eyes were doting. Don't wear a wedding dress by then. I want to give Nian Nian the most grand and perfect wedding. Okay. This is a big happy event. Mother-in-law, give me a copy of Nian Nian's birth date. I know a gentleman. Ask him to help us calculate a good day and set this as soon as possible. Chen Chen's mother was of course very happy, but the look she gave me, the look she gave me at my belly was too hot. I felt something was wrong in my heart, but I thought about it and thought that the elderly like grandchildren. So I didn't take it seriously. Chen Chen's family values me and the baby in my belly. In addition, Chen Chen's attitude has been good these days, and the wedding date has been set. My parents are gradually relieved. I pushed all the work in the studio to my best friend Lin Min and prepared for the wedding with peace of mind. That day, Chen Chen and I went to the wedding dress shop to try on wedding dresses. A few days ago, I saw a wedding dress on the official website of this wedding dress shop that I liked very much. It just happened to arrive today, Miss Su. This wedding dress is tailor-made for you. It makes you look elegant, beautiful, and noble. When you wear it, you must be the most beautiful bride in the whole hotel that day. Pulling open the curtain, I saw Chen Chen sitting on the sofa opposite, with a gloomy face and frowning brows, as if he had encountered something big. But when he saw me coming out, he was still surprised, put his mobile phone in his pocket, and walked quickly. Nian Nian. You are so beautiful. It is my blessing to marry such a beautiful bride like you. He has been talking about love all the time lately. I feel a little shy and uncomfortable in front of outsiders. Okay, go try on the suit. The clerk brought it back for us with great difficulty. Okay. Chen Chen was taken by the clerk to try on clothes. He gave me the coat. He took off. His cell phone in his coat was buzzing. I took it out and saw that it was a message from his mother. As if possessed by some strange force, I unlocked my phone and opened the long string of voice messages. The familiar and sharp voice of Chen Chen's mother instantly rang in my ears. A pregnant woman is worthless. She is tied to you for life. Aren't all her things yours? Wei Wei wants her big duplex in the city center as a dowry. Does she dare not give it to her? Mom tells you, if she doesn't agree, the wedding will not be held, anyway, she is pregnant. Who will be anxious when the time comes? In an instant, it was like a basin of cold water poured over my head. Extinguishing all the joy of getting married and the longing for happiness of marrying a good man, that I trembled with my hands and slid up quickly, opening the voice messages one by one. Her Sioux family only gave birth to 2 daughters. When her father, the sickly man, has any headaches, you will have to run around with him. A son-in-law is half a son, and her sister is still abroad. Isn't this all yours? What's wrong with asking him for a house first? Anyway, his family is so rich. When those 2 old guys die, won't these things belong to our family? Mom tells you. Don't let her sister come back to pick up the ready-made things. Be smart. Those things also belong to our Weiwei, their family is so rich. How could Su Nian watch you working so hard for the company in the past few years? Just take out a shop and a house, and you won't have to work so hard. I think she is still on guard against you. Now that she is pregnant, she can't run away. When the month is big, ask her to transfer the studio to Weiwei. As a sister-in-law, she will take care of her sister and treat it as a dowry for Weiwei. I have always known what kind of temper Chen Chen's mother has. Therefore, I don't find it strange that she can say these things. What makes me even more difficult to accept is my boyfriend, the father of the child in my belly, Chen Chen, who is about to enter the marriage palace with me. He changed his affectionate and steady image in front of me, and sang the same tune with his mother on WeChat, directly dividing the property of my parents' family clearly. Mom, I know, you just have to bear with it. And it will be easy to talk about it after we get married. Weiwei is my biological sister, how can I not take care of her? I told Nian that she would agree. Disagree? I heard Chen Chen sneer in the voice, a tone I had never heard before, which made me shudder instantly. I will make her agree. Mom, don't underestimate me. She married me and is mine. Even if she doesn't agree, I have plenty of ways to make her agree. Then came the proud and praising voice of Chen Chen's mother. Yes, if she doesn't agree, beat her until she agrees. She really thinks she is still a virgin. It is right for our Weiwei to have her studio and house. A married woman who still shows up outside would be thrown into a pig cage in the past. Nian, what are you doing? Chen Chen's voice sounded behind me. I restrained my trembling hands and turned around to see Chen Chen, who still looked a little panicked and guilty. I felt a surge of anger, an unprecedented anger. Listen to my explanation. Things are not what you think. He was panicked for a moment and strode forward to grab the phone in my hand. But I didn't miss the cruelty that flashed between his eyebrows. I couldn't help but take a few steps back and hold the phone tightly. It's not what I thought. Is it like that? It's false that you don't want a dowry. It's true that you think that after getting married, you will take my studio and my parents' property for yourself. Chen, you and your mother are really calculating. When I left the bridal shop in a panic, Chen tried to catch up, but a phone call called him away. Seeing that he didn't catch up, I was relieved and went to the studio nearby to find my best friend Lin Min. What happened? Didn't you go to try on the wedding dress? I was thinking of going to see you later. Hey, why are you crying? Where is Chen? When I saw someone familiar, I couldn't hold back the tears that I had been trying so hard to suppress. I cried through a whole pack of tissues and told Chen Chen's family all about their plans. Only then did I feel better. Did he really plan to do that? I thought he was a good person because he was gentle and polite. What kind of person is this? He has such a dirty heart. Aren't you afraid of being punished by God? Lin Min and I grew up together. Her mother is my mother's colleague. The 2 families have always been good friends. That's why I can be so open in front of her. She has also seen me and Chen go all the way. Knowing the truth, she is even more angry than me. Nian, this marriage is definitely not going to happen. What are your plans next? Lin Min scolded Chen Chen's family. After venting her anger, she came to me and asked in a gentle voice. She looked at my belly again. The child in your belly, beat, hit. She and I said it in unison, and looked at each other at the same time. Lin Min breathed a sigh of relief. Nian Nian, it would be best if you could think it through. Since Chen Chen and his family can do such a thing, you must not let them succeed. I touched my belly, thinking about the malicious words of Chen Chen and his mother on the phone, and the last bit of softness turned into determination that I was glad that Chen Chen and I had not yet got married and obtained a marriage certificate. And fortunately there was still room for redemption. I called my parents and told them the source of the matter while holding back tears. Listening to my father's old voice on the other end, I felt sad for a while, and couldn't help regretting that I didn't listen to my father in time, but fortunately it was not too late now. After hanging up the phone, Lin Min accompanied me to the hospital for an abortion. Chen Chen was busy with company affairs. And I was almost the only one who took care of the upcoming wedding. My parents and I explained to the relatives and friends who had received the invitations that the wedding would not be held. After canceling the booked hotels and banquets, Chen Chen called that I didn't answer any of them. I edited a text message to tell him that the wedding was cancelled and we had no relationship at all. Then I directly blacklisted all the phone numbers of him, his mother and his sister. That I also deleted and blacklisted all the friends and brothers of Chen Chen that I knew. After doing the same operation on my parents' mobile phones, I felt that the world was quiet. My sister was supposed to attend Chen Chen and my wedding a week later. After knowing this, she flew back with her brother-in-law overnight. After seeing me, she was so disappointed that she was not as good as me. She just felt sorry for me who had just had an abortion. She took my parents and me to my brother-in-law to recuperate in a villa in the suburbs. After settling down, I went to find my brother-in-law. Brother-in-law, the money you listened to me and invested in Chen Chen before, you can get it back now that I know that Chen Chen's company is struggling to make ends meet. He is already in a state of panic and is planning to get money from me to fill his company after we get married, but I don't want to do what he wants. If he wants to cheat me, then he should give me back all the benefits he got from me before. My brother-in-law is now the CEO of a building materials company with several branches under his name. If I hadn't said good things to Chen Chen in front of him, he wouldn't have invested in Chen Chen, but Chen Chen doesn't know it yet. He still thinks that it is a project he developed and won the favor of my brother-in-law. My sister is straightforward and rolled her eyes at me. Do you need to tell me, when you called me? I asked your brother-in-law to collect the debt. He dared to bully my sister and wanted to use my money to support his broken company. He is dreaming. My brother-in-law looked at my sister lovingly, and nodded at me. Don't worry, Chen Chen should not be in the mood to ask for your forgiveness now. He is busy with the mess in his company. This is called retribution in this life. I took a long breath, looked at my brother-in-law, and thought about Chen Chen. I couldn't help but doubt my own eyes after seeing a good man like my brother-in-law. How could I still fall in love with a bad guy like Chen Chen? But I didn't know at that time that Chen Chen's family would prove to me with their own actions that bad people will never have a bottom line. After a week of recuperation, my body recovered and I returned to the studio to work with enough energy that I studied interior design in college. The money I earned from taking pictures outside in my junior year was enough for my tuition and living expenses. After graduation, I worked in a design company for a few years to accumulate experience. The studio opened with Lin Min was regarded as all the money I earned from my salary and extra income in the past few years. As soon as the studio started operating, it had already received several good orders. I was determined to put all my energy into making money. Now, no one in the world can make more money than me. Sun Yen Yen, get out of here. I was drawing a picture when I heard a commotion outside. The sharp voice was very familiar to me. Wasn't that Chen Chen's mother Su Chuanxiu? What was she doing here? I had a bad feeling, but as soon as I went out, I saw Chen Chen's mother with disheveled hair, and Chen Wei and Chen Chen, who looked haggard, were beside her. When she saw me coming out, she rushed over like crazy, threw the wrongly buttoned Hermes in her hand, and threw it at me. You bitch, you are so restless even though you are pregnant with our Chen Chen's child. Who allowed you to cancel the wedding? Do you know how embarrassed our family is in front of that relative? How dare you? I couldn't dodge and was hit. Lin Min rushed out and pulled me back. She raised her hand and pushed Chen Chen's mother, making her stumble. What are your family thinking? Do you need someone to tell you? Chen Chen and Chen Wei supported Su Chuanxiu and looked at me disapprovingly. Their eyes were full of reproach. They didn't look guilty at all. I touched the red mark on my face and felt the burning pain. I laughed angrily. Chen Chen's mother was still aggressive. Her pair of mean eyes were full of resentment. This is our family's business. Why do you, an outsider, have to interfere? As she said that, she aimed her gunfire at me again, with an impatient look on her face. Su Nyenyen, you should hurry up and ask your parents for the 1.88 million yuan to turn over to Chen Chen's company, and then transfer the house in the city center to Wei Wei's name. Otherwise, don't even think about entering our Chen family's door again. At that time, I want to see if it is okay for you, the daughter of a university professor, to tell others that you are pregnant before marriage. It turns out that Chen Chen's company can no longer support itself, and he is still eyeing my dowry. Lin Min was indignant and wanted to speak. I held her hand, asked her to call the security guard, and confronted Chen Chen's mother. Is it not okay to be pregnant before marriage? Or is it not okay for your family to covet the daughter-in-law's dowry before you get married? You are not married yet, but you are eyeing to take my parents' property for yourself. The wall is not as thick as your family's face. I have called the security guard. If you don't leave, I will call the police directly. Okay, you call the police and arrest you. The bitch who deceived my son's feelings. Chen Chen's mother was still arguing, and even wanted to come forward and grab my face. It happened suddenly and I was not prepared. Now she wanted to use the bag to hit my face again. I subconsciously blocked it, then I took the broom handed over by Lin Min and swung it hard, hitting Chen Chen's mother's waist directly. She screamed in pain. Chen Chen shouted and grabbed the broom in my hand. Su Nyenyen, have you had enough of making trouble? I said, break up so decisively, and cancelled the wedding. In Chen Chen's eyes, I was making trouble with him. For a moment, I was shocked by Chen Chen's thick skin and couldn't speak for a long time. You are pregnant with my child. What else do you want? Chen Chen's eyebrows showed a trace of irritability. You should ask your parents for the 1.88 million dowry now, otherwise my company will be finished. That's right, Su Nyenyen. My brother has been very busy with company matters these days, and you cancelled the wedding for no reason, causing my brother to apologize everywhere for this, and our family has lost all face. If you still want to enter my house, do as my brother says, and kneel down to apologize to my mother. Otherwise, if you tell others about it, I don't know if your family will still have the face. Chen Wei pointed her phone at me, with a smug look on her face, as if she was sure that I would agree to their outrageous request. Why? Because they thought I was pregnant, so they could completely control me, control my parents, suck all the blood from our family, and then fatten their own pockets. It's so ridiculous. At this moment, I was extremely grateful for my determination. After knowing the true face of Chen Chen's family, I quickly aborted the child. I pulled the iron handle of the broom out of Chen Chen's hand with force, and the sharp tip left a bloody mark in Chen Chen's hand. Listening to his painful voice, I looked at this ridiculous family and said loudly, Chen Chen, we have known each other for 8 years and have been in love for 5 years. I have helped you so many times and solved so many problems for you. You know it well. We haven't even got married yet, but you are discussing with your mother how to take over our family's property. You are unwilling to give a gift, but want a dowry from my parents. Before the wedding, my parents' property was clearly distributed. The studio and the house were given to Chen Wei, the cash was given to your turnover company, and my parents' shop was used to open a breakfast shop for your mother to enjoy a good life. You also cursed my father's health. You have a good idea. Your family is a master of calculations. I tell you, I have aborted the child. My parents are in good health. The doctor said that my parents will live 100 years and will definitely live longer than your mother. Who has maggots in her mouth? As for you, I have no relationship with you now. Even if there is a relationship, it is the relationship between a creditor and a debtor. What? You hit the child? Chen Chen's mother couldn't believe it. She collapsed to the ground, and collapsed and shouted, "You bastard, murderer, give me back my grandson, give me back my grandson, come and see, this woman cheated on my son and beat the old man." At the entrance of the studio, many passers-by who were attracted by the sound had gathered to watch the excitement. For a while, they talked a lot and pointed at Chen Chen's mother in the middle. The eyes of the masses are sharp. Now they pay attention to the truth. Su Chuanxiu thought it was the era when she was right as long as she lay on the ground. Chen Chen listened to the whispers, his face turned blue and red, and his eyes were full of deep anger. "What do I owe you, Su Nian? Don't push your luck. I won't mention all the gifts I've given you over the years, big and small, just think I'm throwing them to beggars out of kindness. But Chen Chen, don't forget that I paid for your company when it was founded. A total of 200,000 yuan, give it back to me." If Chen Chen had the money to pay back, he wouldn't be here now, asking me for the 1.88 million yuan dowry my parents gave me. After my brother-in-law withdrew the funds, his company was shaky and on the verge of bankruptcy. He can't get a penny out of his card now. Chen Chen fled with his mother and Chen Wei before the security guards arrived. Lin Min gave me a thumbs up. "Okay, Nian, that's it. When facing scumbags and bitches, never be soft-hearted. He's been begging for so long, and he really thinks everyone owes him. Shameless." After saying that, he repeated, "You must get this money back. You must never be soft-hearted." I said, "Don't worry, I didn't want to be so ruthless, but since they came to my door, don't blame me for being ruthless. That I really planned to do so." Before Chen Chen and his family came to my studio, the 200,000 yuan was considered as the labor fee for sleeping with Chen Chen for 5 years for free. In the end, I wanted to let them go, but they didn't want to let me go. When his company was established, he borrowed 200,000 yuan from me, in order to make me believe him. He also wrote a promissory note in black and white, which now became the best evidence for me to collect debts from him. I sued Chen Chen directly to the court and asked him to pay back the money. But what I didn't expect was that a video that quickly fermented on the internet was faster than the court summons. The video was edited and cut off the beginning and the end. There was no sound. You could only see me ferociously knocking Chen Chen's mother to the ground with a broom, and then pointing at Chen Chen and his mother's nose and cursing, with the subtitles of the video owner. It was originally Chen Chen's family who went to my studio to make trouble, but it became that I relied on the baby in my belly and ignored my fiancé's current financial difficulties to insist on asking Chen Chen for a sky-high betrothal gift. If he didn't give it, I would not get married. I also abused my future mother-in-law and even hit the old man under the deliberate guidance of the video owner, coupled with the fact that the topic of sky-high betrothal gifts is already sensitive, and the rapid fermentation of the water army. I became popular on the internet and was scolded. "Does she think she is a fairy? And 800,000 betrothal gifts, you want to eat shit. The woman in the video has a dead pig face. How can she have the nerve to ask for 800,000? Is this selling a daughter? Is she selling a daughter? This family is really miserable to have such a daughter-in-law. These are still minor." And more people scolded my appearance and my parents. These netizens didn't even find out the truth of the matter, and they were weirdly one-sided in the public opinion on the internet. They criticized me, even raised the issue of my family and character, and then cursed me and my family, and even told me to die soon. That I was so angry that I was shaking all over. I never thought that someone could be so shameless. They confuse right and wrong, and are so stupid. My sister looked serious. "I have asked your brother-in-law to check. It was your ex-boyfriend's sister who did it. Nian, the surveillance video at the door of your studio recorded everything clearly. Don't worry, your sister is a law student. Chen Chen and his sister, none of them can escape, sister. Just release the surveillance video directly, no need to edit it, and no need to cover my face." I will sue those who curse my parents under the video. That I don't really care about those comments about me. Those people believe everything they hear. When the truth comes out, the matter will be clear, but I can't accept that those people insult innocent elderly people without knowing the truth. My parents did nothing wrong and should not accept these malicious intentions. They want to use public opinion to throw dirty water on my head. But I want to throw this basin of dirty water back completely. People who do wrong will always pay the price for it. I sorted out the evidence, attached the surveillance video at the door of the studio, and sent it out in full, presenting my 5-year relationship with Chen Chen and their family's calculations against me to netizens without reservation. If the video posted by Chen Wei before was just a small fire on the internet, then as soon as my video was posted, it was directly searched by passers-by without paying any water army. Damn, it refreshed my 3 views. How could there be such a shameless family? Fortunately, the young lady woke up, otherwise the whole family would be eaten by the Chen family without leaving any bones. It's terrible. How could there be such a disgusting family? This calculation is too loud. Where is the face? So the previous video was edited, and we were all deceived by that up-host. It's shameless to blame others and confuse right and wrong. The dirty water that Chen Wei tried to throw on me and tried to discredit my reputation online were all returned by netizens who were angry after being deceived. The more my video was, the more netizens scolded Chen Chen's family. Of course, they couldn't see all this, because after Chen Chen's company went bankrupt, he was found to have cut corners in the project and was reported, and he has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. When he comes out, he will face my brother-in-law's ban on him in this industry and my debt of 200,000 yuan. As for Chen Wei, she was also sentenced to 3 years in prison for defaming others' reputation, and Chen Chen's mother also packed up and returned to her hometown in disgrace. I also prepared a surprise for her, and spread the story of their family's attempt to eat up the family through Chen Chen's college classmates in her hometown. In the future, Chen Chen's mother will also be criticized in her hometown. Everyone has to pay the price for their mistakes, such as Chen Chen and Chen Wei, Chen Chen's mother. And me who misjudged Chen Chen. When Chen Chen and Chen Wei were serving their sentences in the cell, my parents had already asked me to go on a blind date. I heard that it was also the child of their old classmate, who had just returned to China this year. I used to be very opposed to blind dates, but now I feel that sometimes I still have to trust my parents' vision. Looking at the young man sitting in front of me with broad shoulders and long legs, handsome appearance and gentle temper, I took advantage of him not paying attention and blinked at Lin Min, who was hiding in a corner not far away, and called me away when something went wrong. This means that there is no need to call, people always have to look forward. After all, life has its ups and downs. Those who are not worth it will be left in the past to rot and stink, and I will just stride forward and move towards a new life.